All right, we got a lot of people talking about my truth. Let's see how that relates to the truth. I am Father Mark Mary with the Franciscan Friars of the Renewal, and this is Ascension Presents. What we're going to do is take a look at this expression, which a lot of you have heard, which is like, here's my truth, and I need you to accept my truth. And then kind of help make the distinction, like how is this different than my experience, which is something a lot of us will use in conversations. And then lastly, right, how we might actually be using this sort of my truth worldview in our relationship with God. And a little invitation to do a self-examination there. Okay. So right, so my truth, yeah, you're hearing it a lot, and it's becoming very popular. And generally, it's like someone makes some statement, they make some judgment, they share some life experience, and they introduce it or close it with these ideas like, this is my truth. This is my truth, right? And what they're saying though is like, this is what needs to be accepted. And this is just sort of like fact, and there's no more conversation to be had, right? Like there's no space for you to ask another question or give sort of a counterpoint or have another kind of another sort of perspective on it, because this is what I've thought, this is what I've experienced, and it's my truth, and my truth is my truth, and you need to just accept it, right? We struggle with that for a couple of reasons, primarily just because we understand that we are servants of the truth. We are discoverers of the truth. Perhaps we're protectors of the truth, but we are not creators and like dictators of the truth. It's not something that is relative to us and what we decide it is. But the truth is something actually outside of us, right? And so that's one kind of initial kind of worldview issue with it. The difficulty is that like there's no space for a conversation. It's kind of this aggressive, like, here it is, and you have to take this and you have to accept it. And that's just not how becoming men and women of communion works. And that's not how authentic communication works. And again, that's just not a proper relationship to the truth. Sometimes like Catholicism, for a lot of people on the outside, gets a bad rap because of our understanding of like dogma and of the Holy Father and of the Magisterium, and they're sort of communicating like, okay, you know, this thing is actually true. And it's what's been revealed to us by God, and as recipients of the truth that has been revealed to us and handed down to us by God, like we have discerned it and explored it and investigated it, and we've made this sort of statement to communicate it to you. Not that we've thought of this on our own, but as servants of the truth particularly as revealed by God, like here it is, right? And the invitation or the call, the necessary response from Christians and from people is to assent to it, like, okay, I surrender to and I accept this truth because the authority comes ultimately from God, right? And but the sort of the irony of it is sort of the kind of with this dictatorship of relativism, as people have called it, and this sort of like the my truth kind of worldview is we've all just kind of become little popes, right? We've all become little, almost kind of like divinities, revealers of the truth as opposed to recipients of the truth. And instead of just having kind of one God-created structure, we have whatever 7 billion individual created sort of whatever you want to call it. This is why we can't like go all in on kind of the my truth kind of language, but also particularly like the worldview behind it. Before kind of going on, like we still want to be like patient and we want to be compassionate with people who have this worldview, because I think a lot of it comes from this place of like of an insecurity about like their experience and whether or not people will actually listen to them. And so I don't think like the immediate response needs to be like sort of aggression and condemnation, but sort of a tactful way of starting to ask questions, right? So that's just kind of like some initial thoughts on that. And then my experience is like, okay, so you're saying my truth, that kind of thing, like isn't like a sort of authentic expression and service of the truth. Well then, like, how does my experience not fall into this relativism sort of thing either? Because it looks pretty similar, right? Like we're going to use this where it's like, okay, my experience in this situation, like my observation, what I think was happening or what I felt, etc., like is X, Y, and Z. But the big difference is there's an invitation, at least if we're being sincere and authentic, there's an invitation to conversation. It's like, okay, here's my experience. Now it's your turn, like share your experience. And the hope, right, is that my experience, my insight, my sort of take on things is going to like influence yours a little bit and enrich yours, and then vice versa, right? And so there's still this space for listening. There's still this understanding that like the truth is something not that we sort of create together, but we sort of help to understand and to dive deeper in together, right? And so that's where I just want to kind of make that little distinction, because I think a lot of people who are listening are like, yeah, we get sort of some issue with the my truth stuff. I don't want us to be super angry and aggressive when people are speaking like that, only because I think it just, I don't think it's actually effective. I don't think it's actually effective. Okay, and then the second one is just like, okay, my experience, the big difference is, again, that we understand we're not sort of the creators and sort of the controllers of the truth. It's recipients, and that my experience still leaves itself open to you sharing your experience. And there's space for authentic communication, hopefully then authentic communion down the road. But here's something I want you to be careful with, is I think a lot of us can be so dismissive of this sort of my truth approach to things. But sometimes we're like this with God in what we expect our lives to look like, or the ways in which we expect things to come together, the way we expect our life to look or our prayers to be answered. It's like, my truth is that I should meet this type of guy or girl, and I should have this profession, and we should have this many children, and I should have this house, and this is how everything should come together. And when it doesn't happen, our response is like, Lord, what are you doing? Like this isn't the plan. And it's like, I'm talking to God and I'm telling him how things need to be and should be. And there's not like this sort of disposition of surrender, this disposition of, okay, Lord, like this is what I think is best. This is what I think it should look like. But you're the Lord. And so I'm going to leave space for you to sort of lead me and guide me. And in your own time, in your own way, actually show me that you're leading me for what's authentically true, what's authentically the best and the good, right? And so just to make sure that those of us who can be very quick to sort of condemn like my truth language in public discourse, which I think there's a place for that, right? That we're not privately doing it specifically with the Lord and our understanding of how our life should look and what God should be doing and when and how, etc. All right, and so hopefully this is just kind of helpful for navigating the waters, the language, but also hopefully this is a bit of a conviction and an invitation to a greater surrender and a greater trust with the Lord. Like, Lord, this is what I want. This is what I believe is best for me. This is what I would like. This is what I would like it to look like. But ultimately, Lord, I trust in you. Ultimately, Lord, I trust in you and your goodness and your fatherhood and your providence, and that in all things you're able to bring about good. All right, so thanks for watching. Thanks for being good. Thanks for your prayers and your desire to grow in your relationship with the Lord. And I look forward to being with you again next week. Remember, we are pilgrims on this earth. Somos peregrinos poco a poco, little by little. Vamos a llegar. We're going to make it. All right, goodbye, everybody.